Welcome to Pages and Reels. If you're a fan of storytelling that makes you think, feel, and question the world around you, then you're in the right place. Today, we're diving into The Hunger Games, one of the most iconic dystopian series of our time. At its nucleus, it's a story about power, control, and resistance. This is the beginning of my Hunger Games series, where we'll do a deep dive into the Hunger Games, exploring theming, the characters, plots, story elements, etc. If you're interested in this kind of thing, please consider liking this video, subscribing to this channel, and ringing that notification bell so you don't miss the next installment. Let's jump right in by looking at the Capitol. The ultimate symbol of power and control. It's a place of absolute luxury, overconsumption, overindulgence, wealth, elaborate and surgically enhanced exteriors with equally as shallow and empty interiors, except full of the spoils of overindulgent feasts.
It makes you sick. So you can go on eating.
How else could you taste everything?
But behind all of the glitz, glamour, and skin dye is a system designed to exploit and oppress. The Capitol survives by keeping the districts divided, impoverished, and afraid. Does that sound pretty horrible? Well, it's about to get worse. These tactics that we see used by the Capitol and Panem can be seen in real-world application, both historically and presently in our day today. Let's break them down. First is economic manipulation. Panem's 12 districts are each forced into specialized labor. Coal mining in District 12, agriculture in District 11, livestock in District 10, fishing in District 4, tech in District 3, etc., etc. While the Capitol consumes the wealth created by the underpaid and overworked labor of these industries, the districts are left with just enough to survive, but never enough to actually thrive. Bars. This economic imbalance keeps the districts dependent and powerless. Think about how this mirrors our real-world experience. Historically, colonial powers exploited colonies and their original inhabitants for the raw materials of the land using free labor from people they took from their homeland, dragged over to their new world, I'm using air quotes, kept oppressed, and then they hoarded the profits and the wealth for themselves. That was historically. Presently, we see this echoed across the world in global supply chains and right here in our own backyard. We're not exempt. Workers in developing nations often produce the goods used to excess by wealthier nations, but are hardly paid livable wages. In our own backyard, we see the same strategy. The wealth gap is widening at an exponential rate. The working class creates the wealth, but people like this guy are the only ones who truly benefit. The Capitol isn't just some dystopian fantasy. It's a reflection of real-world systems designed to hoard the power in the hands of just a couple of guys and their buddies at the expense of your well-being and the future survivability of your family, if you can even afford to create one at this point anymore. Because we all know it's not affordable to even have a family anymore. Now, let's go ahead and talk about media manipulation. In Panem, the Hunger Games are packaged and sold as entertainment, a pretty reality show where children are forced to fight to the Furthermore, the games don't merely serve as an entertaining spectacle. No, they're much more than that. They're a tool of psychological warfare used against the districts, and also a tool to stamp out the empathy of the Capitol citizens and to push the narrative and the agenda of the capital dictatorship forward. By turning the games into an annual, national, mandatory televised event, the capital citizens become desensitized over time to the violence that they see because, one, it does not affect them. Their children are never going to be eligible for the reaping, so they never have to worry about being actually called into the games or losing someone that they love. And they have the propaganda that this is all the district's fault. So they're only getting what's coming to them from a rebellion that happened decades ago that they're still paying for. But, and this is the insidious beauty of it all, the violence that they're seeing, that they're now desensitized to, keeps them distracted from the actual real issue, which is the oppressive system and tyranny that created the games in the first place. So here we go. Let's go ahead and look back at that mirror. How does this parallel how media is utilized in our society to distract, divide, and control? Well, pushed to the forefront is sensationalized news. We have divisive news that left and right. We have entertainment, viral trends, our own forms of reality TV, and most currently, celebrity scandals that often dominate headlines, while critical issues like economic inequality, health insurance in general, systemic racism, climate change, things that really matter, are grossly and audaciously underreported, oversimplified, and the reactions of the people are even scolded. You know what I'm talking about. It's not just about what they show, but sometimes, and even more importantly, it's about what they leave out or what they censor. The capital's control and dissemination of important information feels eerily familiar and reminiscent to how propaganda and biased media actually work in real life. Fear is perhaps the most powerful weapon of the capital. Public whippings, executions, harsh punishments, and the overbearing and obtrusive presence of peacekeepers, interestingly named because who are they keeping the peace for, ensures that rebellion feels impossible. The message sent to the districts from the capital is crystal clear. Step out of line, and your actions will be met with the most brutal of consequences. Unfortunately, this is not some fantasy tactic that Suzanne Collins crafted up for this book. It's prevalent in history, again and today. Historically, authoritarian regimes have used violence and intimidation to maintain control. Even in supposed democratic societies, fear is used to suppress dissent. Over policing, overt biases and discrimination, and the criminalization of protests are just some modern examples of how fear is being used as a weapon. The message from the capital isn't just about controlling the districts. Oh no. It's, again, way more than that. But it's about making rebellion seem so dangerous and so costly that it's not even worth the risk. You know that the life that you want and the life that you deserve, humanity, is worth something, but the very little that you have and your life is just not worth taking that chance to start a rebellion because the punishment is so severe if it doesn't actually change. But as we see illustrated in the story, fear can only suppress resistance for so long. See, and bear with me here. I know it's really dark material, but I promise it gets better. Here's the thing about oppression. It always, not sometimes, not frequently, it always creates resistance. It may take some time, but people are always going to be against being oppressed. There's not an example in history where oppressed people did not rise up against their oppressors. In the Hunger Games, Katniss did not set out to be some hero. It's not like she woke up on Reaping Day and was like, yep, this is the day I'm going to make some real change. Like, I'm over this. I'm tired of being poor. I'm tired of, coming near starvation. I'm tired of seeing people, cease to exist due to starvation. I'm tired of the way things are going, so I'm going to spark change. She didn't wake up and say that. She was just a girl from the poorest part of the poorest district in all of Panem. However, in a nation where humanity was thought to have been stamped out or at least contained, to quote the dictator himself, Katniss displaying her humanity, volunteering in her younger sister's place to save her life, saluting Rue to honor her life, and pulling the stunt with the berries to take the hold from the games off of the lives of not just herself, but her district mate Peeta as well. It disrupted the status quo and was the spark to the rebellion. And Snow knew that a spark was dangerous. Snow may be evil, but he is not stupid. He understands that small acts of rebellion will grow into a larger movement, because as humans, whether we've become desensitized to our humanity or not, we are still human beings. We're still wired to seek hope, unity, and change. It's a tale as old as time. We see it over and over, again and again in our real lives. From civil rights movements to environmental activism, it's often the actions of ordinary people that lead to extraordinary change. Katniss' journey reminds us that rebellion doesn't start with a grand plan, usually. It starts with courage, a choice to stand when everyone else chooses to stay seated. And that's a lesson we can all carry with us. Well, this is just the beginning. In future videos, we'll dive deeper into the themes, exploring everything from the psychology of survival to the dynamics of power and privilege. But now, I want to hear from you. What tactics of oppression stood out to you in the Hunger Games? Do you see some parallels to our world that I haven't mentioned? Let's start a conversation, because understanding these stories help us understand and navigate the world we live in. Thanks for watching Pages and Reels. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss the next video. Let's keep reading, keep watching, and most importantly, keep questioning the stories around us. Bye.